Hello my friends, we're going to continue straight to another Shia on Baba Basra Daf Kufov. I'm behind a little bit, so it's time to catch up. In the airport, some waiting time. So we learned that if someone said, I'm selling you land, and he said, En Chose En Yasa, until a Roiva Akav to Beiso, a mistake is included in the sale. If he said Mido Bachevel, it means exact measurements, any mistake you have to return. Says this Mishnah Daf Kufov Modalef, Besimono Vuvumitzorov. He said, I'm selling you this field that's the size of base core offer, and these are the borders, and these are these are where it ends, and this is where it begins. So, in such a case, if you'd say just base core offer, the din would be that sorry about that. So Besimono Vuvumitzorov, the Mishnah says that if he added on, so if he said exact measurements, again, I'm just repeating because they stopped me here, the security. So if he said exact measurements, so the din is any mistake, he has to return. If he said En Pochas En Yosa, we said until Roiva Akab. If he said I'm giving you this base core offer and these are the measurements, so if you'd say just base core, it's like he said with a little mistake is okay. Why did he add to say the measurements? He meant to say, look, this is the measurement and this is what it is. And even if it's a bigger mistake than Roiva Akav, the din will be that it's okay. So let's see it inside. Besimorov Mitzorov said, I'm selling you a base core offer, and these are the borders. Pochos mishtus igiyoi. Until a mistake of until a shtus, we're going to see in the Gemara what's the din if it's a 6 exactly. But until a 6 of a mistake, the din is the sale goes ahead. That means if it's bigger until a shtus, or smaller until a shtus, until a 6, the din is okay, and it's more than base roiva, a quarter of a kav for each saw. It's a much bigger mistake, and afilu ochi, it's okay. Ad shtus, if it's more than a shtus, or maybe a shtus and more, we're going to see in the Gemara, the din is that yinake, you have to fix the difference between them. That means you have to give back or pay more money for the extra you got. Itma, we learned Rav Huna Omar Shtus. What happens if it's exactly a 6? So it's very clear in the Mishnah that Pochosh Mishtus is included in the sale. If the mistake was until a 6 or too much or too little, the sale goes ahead with no one getting back money or land. What's the din if it's exactly a 6? So Rav Huna says Shtus kepochos mishtus. It's the same din like less than a shtus, and it's part of the sale, and no one has to pay back anyone. Rav Yudah says shtus ki yosim mishtus. A shtus is like more than a shtus, and therefore, like more than a shtus, you have to give back the land or pay money for the extra you got, or the moicha has to give back the money if he sold too little. So also shtus is the same din. Rav Huna Omar Shtus kepochos mishtus, and now he's going to explain the Mishnah. Ochikoma pochos mishtus. This is pshat in the Mishnah when it says pochos mishtus, less than a shtus, veshtus bechlal, and a shtus is included. If such a mistake igiyoi, the sale goes ahead. Yoisa mishtus, if it's more than a 6, yinake, then you have to give back. And Rav Yudah, he learns the Mishnah different. Shtus, if it's a shtus, ki yoisa mishtus. And this is pshat in the Mishnah. Ochikoma pochos mishtus, if it's less than a 6, igiyoi, ad shtus, until a 6, the sale goes ahead. Veshtus bichlal. Igiyoi, ad shtus. Again, ochikoma pochos mishtus igiyoi. Less than a shtus, the sale goes ahead. Ad shtus, until a shtus. Veshtus bichlal yinake. But if it's a 6, a mistake, then you have to pay back the extra land you got, or the too little land the seller has to give back. Meisive, we have a kasha. It says the brisa besimonov u'bimitzorov. I'm selling you a land, and these are the borders. Piches shtus or itzi shtus. If he gave a shtus too little, or shtus or 6 too much, Aryeh kishuma dayonim igiyoi. So the brisa says the din is it's like shuma dayonim. Shuma dayonim is best they want to estimate the value of a field because they want to pay off, let's say, a ksuva or something. That's called shuma dayonim when Bezdin estimate a field, a value, and they had a mistake, and so the din is there. The din is clearly that a shtus is a sale, and less than a shtus is not. Until a shtus it goes through. But a shtus it cancels. So l'chora here it says Aryeh Shuma Dayonim that a shtus has a din like Shuma Dayanim that's cancelled. And then the Brisa says Igiyoi. So let's see. Says the Gemara of Shuma Dayanim, what the din when Beis Din made a mistake? The shtus, if they had a mistake of a 6, Kiyoisem shtus, the same din is, it's like if they had a mistake more than a shtus, and the din is that's cancelled. So we could see a kasha on the Shitta who said that by us a shtus is like less than a shtus. So the Gemara, Ravuna is going to answer to you. The way you learn, it says in the Brisa, it says that it goes ahead and you don't have to be menake anything. How does that work? Higiyoi is like what I'm saying. Elo says Ravuna, I'll explain you this Brisa. The Brisa contradicts each other. It's not really contradicting each other. I'll explain you pshat in the Brisa. Elo keshuma dayonim velo keshuma dayonim. It's a bit like Shuma Dayanim and not like Shuma Dayanim. Keshuma Dayanim l'shtus. Like by Shuma Dayanim, the measurement is shtus. And also by us, if someone said Besimolov v'mitzoram, the measurement is shtus, and not roiva akav for each saw, that's much less than a shtus. But v'loi keshuma dayonim, it's not the same like Shuma Dayanim. The ilu also by Shuma Dayanim when Beis Din had a mistake, bottleneckach by shtus. The ilu oche by us by shtus igiyoi, the sale goes through, and only more than a shtus, it's cancelled. Rav Papa zovin aro me'ugaver. Rav Papa bought a land from this person. Said the Gemara gaf kufavom on the base. Amalei, he told him, Ave esrun giuri. The size is 20 giuri. Giuri, I think it's a type of size. Mashche, he measured it. Just going to see the Rashbam a second on the Aleph. So Omale Ave Esrun Giuri and Mashche, they measured it. V'lo yavoy elechem chamisra, and they found out there was only 15 giuri. So it was much bigger than a shtus of a mistake. And it's talking about, the Rashbam says that he said b'mitzarov in the borders of the field. Also, like I made Abaye, this case came in front of Abaye. Omalei Abaye Paskin Sovers v'kiblis. We accepted b'mitzarov, and he accepted it, and therefore you don't get back any money, and you only get 15. So the Gemara asks, he asked Abaye, Vatnan, Pochos Mishtus Igio, Ad Shtus Inakef, and more than a Shtus, everyone agrees that you give back. So L'chara, he should get back of his money because he paid for 20 and he only got 15, and it's much more than a Shtus. So the Gemara, Animili, that's Tomai Chedeloi Kim Lebegavo, where he doesn't know the field, where he doesn't recognize it, he doesn't know the measurement. But here, Aval Heicha, the Kim Lebegavo, like in this case, that he knew the field and he knew that it's only 15, Sova Vekibel, you paid for it and he accepted the price, and therefore, even though that's only 15, you don't get back any of your money. Frek the Gemara of Esrin Omalei, he said clearly 20, and there's only 15. Omalei Dadifak Esrin, when he said 20, all he meant to say that it's very good land, my 15 is like 20, but they both knew there was only 15, and therefore if he was willing to pay the money, the sale goes through and he doesn't get back any of the money. Tani Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi says, Achim Shecholku, brothers who split, and so the brothers had the Yerusha, and they both have a land, and now they decided to split the land into two, and they did a goyrel, and they decided to split one, let's say the Mizrach is one land and Ma'ariv another land, and they did the girl who will get each kaven. Once, let's say Reuven was zoiche in the Ma'ariv, the side Ma'ariv land, konu kulam, all the other brothers are koina. That means if it's only two brothers, the other one is zoiche straight away in the other one, and if it's three brothers, the other two are zoiche in the other two, and they have to continue splitting, but this one is zoiche in it. My timer. What's the reason? Amar Abelozo kitchilas Eretz Yisrael, like when they split the Chalukah in Eretz Yisrael. Matchilo, like when they split Eretz Yisrael begoyrol. How did they split Eretz Yisrael? They did the goyrolas, and once someone was zoiche, that's it. The transaction goes through. So also here, Afkan begoyrol. Says the Gemara, Imala alon bekalpi beurim v'tumim. The Chalukah of Eretz Yisrael, how did they do it? They had a goyrol, and they had urim v'tumim. They asked the urim v'tumim. They asked the Kohen Gadol, and to ask the Urim v'Tumim, Elazar was over there, and they asked him, and lefi that they were mechalik it. Over here, there's no Urim v'Tumim, it's just a girl. Afkan bekalpi v'Urim v'Tumim. Also here, you should say you should need Urim v'Tumim. Omer Ravashi, so Ravashi explains, Ba'u anod ketzaisi la'adodi gamri u'makni la'adodi. So Ravashi explains, and the Rashbam explains that he's not coming to argue, he's coming just to explain that The reason is because they wanting to split, these two brothers wanting to split with a girl, in that no, they don't want anymore to they don't want to delay this splitting, and therefore once one of them is zoich the girl, that's it. They're happy already to be maknet one to each other, and therefore once one of them zoich the girl, it goes through. Itma, we learn shnei achim shecholku, two brothers who split the nechosim of the father, and after they split, suddenly a brother, Reuven and Shimon split the nechosim from Yaakov who passed away, and suddenly from a long, far away country, from Malaysia, comes a brother, Levi, and says, I'm also a son. So what's it then? They split already. The whole splitting is cancelled, and now we split you split it again 3 ways, and you do a chalukah again. V'Shmuel Omar mekamtzin, Shmuel says no. Mekamtzin means each one gives a third of his nechosim, and gives it to this brother, to Levi. So the Rashbam explains, let's say there was 6 fields, so Reuven took 3 and Shimon took 3, and now Levi came. So Reuven gives a third of his, that's 1 field, and Shimon gives a third of his, that's 1 field. They give it to Levi, and therefore each one gets a third, but the chalukah that he did at the beginning stays. Omar Rav Nachman, Rav Doma Botlo Machloikes, Lefishitas Rav, who says that the whole chalukah is cancelled. Al Ma'oda Dina, we say the din that Paskin gets cancelled. Elomato, if so, Ani Beit Losa, the Kaimi V'Ozel Beit Reminayu, these 3 people who are partners, and 2 V'Ozel Beit Reminayu, and 2 of them went to Polig, and they split the shutfus in front of a Bezdin, and the 3rd guy wasn't there. Ochinami the bottle machloikas, you're going to say that it's not a good chalukah? What's the difference? And there it's clear for us that the chalukah stays and the 3rd one takes his part. So why is it any different to these 2 brothers who split and then the 3rd brother turned up? So the Gemara no, hochi ashto. So this is how you should put it. Hosom, over there, nechisi adata debate losa, meikara. Over there, they knew that there was, by the case of chalukah of 3 people, they knew there were 3 people, and they never tried splitting it into 2. And therefore, even though that the 3rd one wasn't there, since they did it in front of Bezdin, and they split it into 3 parts, no problem. There's no toes. Here in the case Reuven and Shimon split it, and they never knew about Levi in Malaysia. They never split it into 3 ways. They split it into 2, and that was a mistake. And since the Ikka Chalukah was a mistake, it gets cancelled. It's different. Shmuel, who holds that each one keeps his 3 fields and he has to give 1 field to Levi. The Meimer the Kom Dina he holds, and once they paskened to split into 2, we keep it that way. They both said, if someone says, I'm selling you a kurl for 30, and then he says, he could change his mind even in the last saw. If you use both lashonis, also as one transaction of a kuru for 30, and then he said saw besela rishon kona, each one the kinyan is chal. So says the Gemara, the kasha is, why do we say that each one that rishon kona? L'chora, why don't we say, since there is a mistake, like we said before, when the 2 brothers split and each one took 3 fields, it's a mistake beikara, and therefore the din is sorry. Even though that there was a mistake beikara, the chalukah stays. So also over here, yeah, okay, sorry, the kasha is from the Reisha, in the case where he said that I'm selling you 30 for 30. So we said even that he gave him 29, he could be choizer. Says the Gemara, why could he be choizer? L'chora, we should say, even though that the other mistake, they never got the full amount yet, it should go ahead, like when these Reuven and Shimon who split, even though that they did a mistake, really there was a third brother, it's chal. So also here it should be chal, even though that there was a mistake in one saw. What's the difference? Says the Gemara, Daf Kuf Zayin Amud Aleph, Hosam Avud Rabbanon Milsa Denichel Moicha V'Nichel Eloikeach. Over there, they both don't want the transaction to go ahead until he gets a full amount. The Loikeach doesn't want it to go ahead because if the price goes down, he wants to have the ability to change his mind and get the lower price. And the Moicha, the opposite, doesn't want it to go ahead because if the price goes up, he wants to be able to change his mind and get a higher price. And therefore, they're both happy that the transaction doesn't go through until he gets a full amount. And therefore, the din is until he doesn't get the full amount, the transaction doesn't go through. Masha'in Kain, by the case over there of the Chalukah, they both want the transaction to go through and they never knew about Levi, and therefore the transaction goes through, the Chalukah goes through, and if the brother comes, Levi comes from Malaysia, you give him back the extra, his part. Thank you very much. Should all be zoicha for a ksiva v'chasima toiva, and we should be zoicha for mechila gemura and all the averis we've done this year and all the years. And we should be zoicha for geula shleima. And in my understanding, the way we get to geula, it's first of all, obviously, we daven, we do mitzvahs, we learn avodas beis hamikdash, al ilches beis hamikdash, but also we live that way. And each one has his imaginary way what the geula looks like. Less honking, let's say, in the road. That's like a simple thing. So the way we bring the geula is by less honking on the road, less getting angry, behaving nicer to people in business, etc. We should all be gebenched.